Thank you.
For the students, I will give this chance to the Honorable Otiende, and wish you could take a shorter time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll take a very short time. First of all, allow me to welcome the students, the candidates of Class 8 of Riara School to Parliament. 2 of my daughters are in that class, Jean and Jewel, and to all the other students, I wish them well. Mr. Speaker, on this subject, I suppose the motion, the cost of electricity needs to come down. There are certain basic commodities which, if they're not manageable, then you cannot live a good life. Cost of fuel must also come down, the cost of unga must come down, and it is in this interest, and I'm happy that the Honorable Member of Laikipia has brought this motion. So next Monday, when we're on the street, please join us, because these are some of the costs that we need to come down. We want them to be basic. But secondly, allow me to disagree with some of my honorable colleagues who say the problem is the monopoly. There are certain facilities that must be monopolized, like Kenya Ports Authority must be a monopoly. There are certain essential services that must be a monopoly. The problem is not being a monopoly. The problem is the management. And one of the things that we must do is we must demand for KPLC, we must demand of Ketraco, we must demand of Kengen that all the agreements they have entered into with private players must be made public and must be reviewed, because that's where the problem is. The problem is in the cartels that are dealing with our public institutions. That is where what we must manage. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, as we are dealing with this particular issue, we must also encourage the government to promote the alternative sources, so that we don't just rely on when there is drought, then they say there is no electricity, we must ration. And we have we are one of the countries in the equator where we have the sun throughout. We must use these alternative means because they are even cheaper. The truth is, there are people who are suppressing the use of alternative energy sources, and that's why the cost is high. Mr. Speaker, I support the motion. Thank you very much.
This chance will go to the member for Bureti, if he's in the House. The Honorable Ruku, you are out of order completely.